Socrates Companion Glucose Response Test. This video covers a 3-hour test showing how the Socrates Companion system responds to a 100-gram sugar intake. The 21-year-old female test subject sits still with the companion sensor on the top of her ear. The sensor is connected to a signal processor that outputs a computer screen showing the current reading to the right. The subject's initial glucose level is 88 milligrams per deciliter, as shown on the Johnson & Johnson variometer at the bottom of the video. After drinking 100 grams of glucose solution, the signal starts to change. 30 minutes into the test, the subject is at 103 milligrams per deciliter. Please note that the raw signal change on the screen goes down as the glucose level increases. At 45 minutes, the companion continues to show a downward response as the glucose increases to 113 milligrams per deciliter. The companion signal change is more apparent at 1 hour into the test as the subject reaches 130 milligrams per deciliter. At an hour and 30 minutes into the test, this insulin recovery becomes apparent as the companion starts to flatten out. At an hour and 45 minutes, the glucose level peaks at 162 milligrams per deciliter. From here, the subject has a typical bumpy recovery as the insulin cycles through the body and the blood sugar levels slowly start moving back towards baseline. Note that the Vario and the companion systems both detected 120 milligram per deciliter short impulse at the same time. As we approach 2.5 hours, the body has recovered to between 130 and 140 milligrams per deciliter, as can be seen on the Vario and the upward companion signal output. Just before 3 hours, another short impulse back to 160 milligrams per deciliter is seen on both the Vario and the companion signal output. Finally, after 3 hours and 15 minutes, the subject has recovered to 120 milligram per deciliter, and that recovery is clearly visible on the companion screen. In summary, over this 3-hour test, the companion system shows a strong correlation to the Vario strip tests that are periodically taken. Over the 2 hours, both the systems linearly respond to 100 gram sugar intake from 88 milligrams per deciliter to 163 milligrams per deciliter. For the next hours, both systems measure the bumpy recovery back towards baseline. The recovery is flat at first and then starts to linearly move back to 120 milligrams per deciliter. Along the way, both Vario and companion simultaneously measure short impulses in blood glucose change that is typical of insulin recovery. Thank you for your interest in the Socrates Health Solutions Companion Blood Glucose Meter.